Not a soul in the sleepy Iowa township predicted that a down-home dance expo, barely hanging by a thread, would transform overnight into an unforgettable showcase. Yet that's precisely how things unraveled when a tall stranger with an unassuming smile turned out to be Nimrat Kaur, stepping into an old barn on the very afternoon it was about to lose all hope. The sun sat high over Applewood Township, casting long shadows across rows of cornfields. At the far edge of a dusty road stood a lopsided barn, its rustic boards bleached from years under the Midwestern sun. A crooked sign reading, Annual Dance Expo, dangled from the rafters near the entrance. The events coordinator, Patty Raymond, paced outside in a swirl of frustration, clutching a clipboard dotted with last-minute cancellations. She'd worked tirelessly to keep this local dance tradition alive, but it seemed destined to fizzle out for lack of participants. Inside, the wide barn space smelled of dried hay and old wood. What little decor existed, faded streamers and a string of mismatched holiday lights, hardly disguised the emptiness. A makeshift stage of plywood panels sat at one end, and scattered chairs lined up in uneven rows, as if someone hoped an audience might appear. 2 or 3 kids from a local high school hovered near the stage, warming up with timid stretches. Their dance instructor, Ms. Grayson, wore an anxious frown, adjusting the boombox that threatened to skip whenever it hit a louder bass note. A hush of disappointment spread through the barn as the minutes passed with no sign of spectators. That was the exact moment a dusty SUV pulled up in the gravel driveway. Out stepped Nimrat Kaur, in well-worn jeans and a friendly grin. Nobody recognized her at first. She wore a baseball cap pulled low, hair tucked behind her ears. Taking in the near-empty parking lot, she exhaled softly, determined not to let the underwhelming scene scare her off. Approaching Patty, she said, "Afternoon. Is this the Applewood Dance Expo? I heard you all could use some extra participants." Patty half laughed in relief, though she still looked exhausted. "We need about a miracle, but I'll take any help we can get." Nimrat's eyes flicked to the barn's interior. "Mind if I just pop in, maybe see if I can join a routine or lend a hand?" Patty shrugged. "Be my guest. Honestly, I'm about ready to fold up early if nobody else arrives." With that, Nimrat stepped into the barn's dim interior, letting her eyes adjust. She spotted Ms. Grayson guiding the teens through a clumsy warm-up, and a few older folks milling around uncertain. No jazz hands, no bustling energy, just a faint sense of deflation in the air. "Hello," Nimrat ventured. Ms. Grayson turned, forcing a polite smile. "You're welcome to watch, but might be pretty short. Half the dance team's canceled." Meanwhile, the teens paused their stretches, giving Nimrat polite nods. One girl asked, "Are you from around here?" Nimrat shook her head. "I'm just passing through. But I do love a good dance expo." She observed their half-hearted routine, noticing key missteps. Their timing faltered, the transitions were off, and they lacked that spark that makes a piece enthralling. Sensing Ms. Grayson's stress, Nimrat gently offered, "I've done a bit of dance. Maybe I can help you sharpen a few moves." Ms. Grayson's brows arched, her posture radiated a silent plea for rescue. "We're practicing a quick jazz number, but the kids are pretty new," she admitted. While Ms. Grayson cued the boombox, Nimrat stepped onto the makeshift stage, gesturing for the teens to spread out. The music crackled to life, some upbeat, brassy tune that had the potential for a show-stopping piece, if done right. The kids tried to run through, but their confidence wavered. Nimrat clapped in time, calling out simple corrections. "Keep your torso upright, don't slouch. Remember to spot your turns." Within minutes, the routine felt tighter, more coherent. The teens looked at each other, surprise on their faces. They just improved drastically with the coaching of a total stranger. Ms. Grayson caught a flicker of recognition in Nimrat's graceful stance, the way she delivered corrections. "You move like a pro," she murmured. "Have you done a lot of stage work?" Nimrat offered a small grin, here and there. "Some stage shows." One of the older folks, a local dance enthusiast named Jean, overheard and did a double take. "Wait, some stage shows? You look a lot like." "No way. Are you Nimrat Kaur, the stage star?" The revelation spread across the barn like a spark. The teens gasped, jaws dropping. Ms. Grayson nearly fumbled the boombox remote. "You're serious? Nimrat Kaur? Award-winning star." Immediately, phones emerged from pockets. A couple of the kids whispered, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it." A boy called out, "No wonder you're such a good teacher." Nimrat gave a self-conscious laugh. "It's me, but let's focus on you guys. We got a show to make happen, right?" A sudden hush fell as the small group realized they had a top-tier talent at their disposal. Meanwhile, Patty, hearing the commotion, dashed inside. She found her dance expo in an uproar of excitement. Word traveled fast. Within minutes, the handful of folks present began texting or calling neighbors saying, "Get down here now. You won't believe who's dancing with the kids." Seizing the moment, Nimrat proposed they run a quick workshop, refreshing everyone's technique. Ms. Grayson nodded fervently. The teens lined up bright-eyed as Nimrat guided them through a dynamic warm-up routine, sprinkled with professional tips. Each demonstration she gave, be it a leap or a small pirouette, sparked awe. The kids tried valiantly to replicate her precision, discovering they could do more than they dreamed. Encouraged by the shifting energy, Patty ventured back outside to see if more spectators were arriving, and to her amazement, a couple of cars pulled up, followed by a small local news van. A few families strolled in, having heard rumors on social media. The barn, only an hour ago lifeless, slowly gained the hum of anticipation. The dusty old floor smelled of mild sweat and sawdust, but there was something electric in the air, like a community, on the verge, a magical moment. While Ms. Grayson prepared the official piece, Nimrat chatted with an elderly husband-wife duo who'd planned to perform a comedic folk dance but were about to back out due to stage fright. She reassured them, offering a sweet melodic phrase or two from one of her performances to lighten the mood. They giggled, starstruck. "If you think we can do it, maybe we should," the wife said. Nimrat nodded. "You'll bring the crowd so much joy. I promise." Finally, the time came for the expo to formally start. The music system sputtered to life, and the makeshift stage lights, random string bulbs dangling overhead, flickered. Ms. Grayson introduced the teen group first. They stepped forward, hearts pounding, aware that a cluster of new faces and a local reporter were watching. The kids launched into their jazz routine, hitting each count with an intensity nobody expected from them. Applause rang out, echoing in the barn's rafters. Next, the older couple gave their comical polka performance, drawing cheers and laughter, followed by a short contemporary solo from a local dancer who overcame her shyness once she knew a star was cheering her on. By the time each act concluded, the barn was practically glowing with communal excitement. People who planned to skip the expo now showed up, lured by the buzz. The local news anchor interviewed Patty on the spot, filming the orchard of chairs that now nearly filled with supportive neighbors. To cap it all off, Ms. Grayson coaxed Nimrat into offering a brief cameo. With a humble smile, she stepped onto the stage, the kids forming a semicircle around her, and performed a quick, joyous combination that fused stage flair with a country twist for the local crowd's delight. The audience hooped and whistled. Cameras flashed. Even the stoic reporter found herself clapping along, caught in the spirit of the moment. As the final bow approached, each performer locked arms for a triumphant curtain call. Applause thundered through the old barn walls, more powerful than anything Applewood Township had experienced in years. Some parents wiped away tears, kids hopped up and down in celebratory energy, and the older folks recalled the heyday when community events could fill hearts to the brim. Afterward, while people mingled, snapping photos and exchanging contacts, Nimrat quietly helped Ms. Grayson gather stray cups and wrappers. Ms. Grayson's voice trembled with gratitude. "You turned a dying expo into the highlight of the year," she said. Nimrat just shook her head. "You all had the spark. I just gave it a little air." The local reporter pulled them aside, capturing a final segment for the evening news. Stage star saves small-town dance expo. An unlikely combo that ended in a standing ovation, the reporter summarized, beaming. By nightfall, the crowd dispersed, the last cars rumbling away. Patty locked the barn's door with a grin she hadn't worn in months. The expo's success meant they might garner enough sponsorship or at least fresh sign-ups to keep it alive next year. Already, a local orchard invited them to host an outdoor summer dance festival. Someone else promised a donation for better lighting. The entire landscape of what Applewood Dance Expo could be had changed in the span of a few hours. Nimrat parted with minimal fanfare, driving off in her dusty SUV. She left behind a hastily scrawled note pinned to Patty's clipboard. "Thank you for letting me share in your passion." True artistry shines brightest in the unlikeliest places. Keep dancing, NK. In the weeks to follow, the Expo's story spread across social media. People marveled at how a near-canceled event found rebirth simply because a star with a warm heart stepped into an old barn. Ms. Grayson formed a youth dance club. The older couple found themselves invited to local gatherings, and donations trickled in for new music equipment. Applewood Township discovered that no performance is too small, no stage too humble to spark a moment of shared wonder. And that's how a dusty barn, battered by time and disinterest, became the epicenter of a swirl of applause and delight, reminding everyone that sometimes all it takes is one unassuming visitor, arriving with both skill and sincerity, to show a small town that their big dreams truly do deserve the spotlight.